Style takes too long. I can't fit anything. I have nothing in this closet. Oh, I'll just stay home. I need to purge my closet. Oh, but not that dress. Yo, Taylor here. If you ever thought to say one of these phrases, then this show is for you. Join me at the Style Table, where we'll have candid and fun conversations about real women's style issues and wardrobe dilemmas. We will discuss solutions and ideas that will give you a big sigh of relief. You'll learn ways to save money, make money, and enrich the lives of others with the clothes in your closet. We're going to take the stress out of your style. Hey everybody, it's Yo Taylor back here at the Style Table, and I am so excited today. I am here with the lovely Brandi Larsen. She is an author and she is a speaker, and she just co-authored a book called Uncultured this past September, and she's going to tell us about what she does. She's definitely one of those people that is in service to help others. She wants to help others see their best self. She helps people have access to publishing, and she also is big in helping out her community. So she volunteers a lot, and she's going to tell us all about her. And of course, we're going to ask her about her style. Welcome to the show, Brandi.
Yo, thank you so much for having me. It's a delight.
So you're an author and a speaker. So which came first? The book? The books?
I mean, I've always been a writer. I spent my early career in journalism and then in book publishing. And so I took that knowledge inside book publishing, understanding how the business worked, and then realized during my time as a publisher at Penguin Random House that so many people didn't know how to access the publishing industry. And so I made the decision to go out on my own and really start talking about how the book industry works and really make it from being this black box of how does publishing work into a clear vision of how to make publishing more inclusive instead of being on the outs for so many people. So I speak about that, and I also speak about writing, and that leads me to writing. And yes, I've always been a writer, but the book that I just worked on is called Uncultured. It's Daniela Mestenik Young's memoir. She was born in the Children of God cult and grew up, got herself excommunicated, and then joined the army. And through the course of the book, we invite readers to think about the groups they're a part of, because she realized that the two organizations were a lot more similar than one would ever imagine. And so it's been recommended by the New York Times and a load of other places, and was Goodreads Best Book of the Year nominee. So we're very excited about the way it's been received. So yes, and I am grateful to help my community. I'm the head of the board of Literary Cleveland, which is an organization committed to helping writers and readers explore other voices and discover their own.
Oh, that's awesome. And I'm an Ohio girl. So, so I know you have that good Midwestern kindness and generosity and helping, not that other people aren't, but I can speak for the Midwesterners. We love to share what we have, and we are giving people. So now this book sounds so interesting. I just want to know a little bit more about this book. It sounds it's riveting as far as this woman escaping this cult.
Yeah. So it's called Uncultured, and it's Daniela Mestenik Young. And Daniela is one of my heroes. She has so much grit and determination and strength. And, it's a book that's been compared to Educated and Glass Castle. When you think about the resilience that's needed to come out of something that's bigger than you, Daniela realized at a very young age that there wasn't a lot of God in the Children of God cult. And that the idea behind the book is this idea we started forming of that people would do anything to be a part of the group that they're in. I think about that in fashion, right? When you like, why are we dressing the way that we dress, right? That's like one aspect. But for Daniela, she saw it definitely as a young girl in the cult. She was 15 when she got herself excommunicated, landed in Texas to start high school for the first time on her own. Like, she had never been in school. And she's brilliant and made her way out through really amazing mentors, through hard work, but really thinking through being part of a group, right? And there's, high school, right?
Right.
And then she joined the Army, and she realized on the bus into basic training, like, oh, this is a lot like the cult I just left.
Oh, wow.
So, especially being a woman. And so really thinking about how the groups that we're a part of, how they changed us. So we really think about how we change groups, but we ask the reader to think about it the other way and to look at what the cults that we're a part of. That's what Daniela really loves to say, is like, what cult are you in? But really, through the story of, a life in which, I think the New York Times review said that it was a life from a woman who didn't know that she would make her way out. And so that's the story that we give to readers. And it's my hope that when people pick up the book, that they're as changed by the story of Daniela's life as I was.
Wow. So that's, and we love that story of overcoming and triumph and succeeding and moving on past
sisterhood.
Sisterhood, definitely.
But how we deal inside the systems that we're in. Yeah. It really is a story of resilience, of overcoming. We've heard from a lot of readers who are trauma survivors as well, and how it opens them to heal.
Now, when you speak, because you're a public speaker, do you also share, any personal stories of yourself as overcoming and triumph and all of that, any obstacles?
When I talk, I speak about three different things, right? I speak about books and the book business and how that works. And that's really, generally the talks are funny, but also very, it's the fire hose of, I've got 90 minutes. How can I give you everything I know about the industry? So there's that piece. And then I speak about purpose and really thinking about leadership and why are we here, and identity, and these big topics that we're grappling with. And through the stories of, the things in my own life that I've picked up along the way, whether it's things that are designed to make you laugh or things to really open us and think about, how is it like women leaderships, and how lonely it is to be a woman, especially as a leader. How do we open ourselves up to allowing grief in, to accept joy? How am I figuring out what my purpose is right now? And does right now have to be always? And so I use stories from my own life, whether it's been in the boardroom or as a corporate executive, or personal stories from, outside, or my writing life. And so I kind of stitch all of that together to create what audiences tell me is really a relatable way of being. I think someone wrote that I was all grit. Like, there was some really lovely way that people describe when they walk out of my talks. And for me, it's a feeling-centered approach. I really want people to feel safe enough to be open, to ask themselves the questions that they leave unsaid in their heart.
And so also now, when you're up there speaking, and when you're speaking on these types of topics, and you're trying to get people to learn how to become a writer, sometimes people who are writers are a little more introvert because they give it all to the book.
Yeah.
They give it all to whatever they're journaling or whatever they're writing. They give it all to that. How do you show up to do public speaking? Do you find yourself to be an introvert? What is your style? I think you mentioned that you're kind of a
I love that
minimalist.
question. I get my energy from others. And so I love being around a crowd. I love communicating. The best part about writing for me is the storytelling, right? We're all storytellers, whether or not we call ourselves writers. And I think that, what I love about publishing is that it takes, in traditional book publishing, it takes 60 plus hands to bring a book into life. And so you think about like a writer alone in their room, but it's really this, big hug bringing a book into the world. And I think about that when you're in a room with, whether it's, 10 or 1,000 or 10,000, right? You're really, how do I reach this person in this moment and create space for them to feel? And I feel really charged by that. I grew up in my 20s doing improv in Chicago. And the concept of yes and the concepts of explore and heighten, I put into my talks, which generally, like if I'm standing on a stage and there's a PowerPoint behind me, it's, like giant pictures. I was once at the Marriott Marquis in New York, and it was, it's like a giant ball.
Yeah.
And, they dim the lights on the last talk before lunch, which is, the slot everybody wants to be in. And it was all men before me on stage. It was digital leadership, graphs and charts. And I'm sort of sweating bullets backstage because I know that my slides have like narwhals and unicorns and like giant rainbows coming through, because I was talking about joy and place, and how if you're a leader, joy starts with you, and like how to have a good team. But the talk was called something like embracing analytics for your team, right? And so it's the backdoor approach to like you can get your team to do something that maybe they find less palatable if you are creating a culture of joy. Was the through line of the talk, which I was showing through like rainbows and narwhals and my Fitbit results, just all the different things. And I had this moment where I didn't know, because it was so dark, and it was like and the audience was silent, how it was going. And then when the lights came on, there was that moment where everyone was like taking a breath, and then the applause of like, oh, you got it. Like that energy in that room of, oh, I have something that I can take away right now, whether it's in a professional context or it's in a personal context or purposeful context, which kind of weaves in both, that gives people the room to grow and help them.
So on that note of speaking, so when you're speaking, and do you ever stop and think, if everybody's just quiet and they're looking at you, do you ever in the back of your mind go, is it something I'm wearing? Or
yeah. So I only wear things on stage that I love and feel really comfortable in. And so that's the like in my everyday life, I have dressed like I don't have a body. I'm like this brain kind of floating around in space that I dress to not be noticed. And I'm just starting to realize like, oh, I could dress the way I dress on stage, which is a combination of things I feel beautiful in, things I feel comfortable in, often things with pockets for practicality, right? Like,
yes, we all love pockets.
But something, there's generally a detail, whether it's asymmetry or stripes or polka dots, so that if you zone out while I am talking, because I've got, I'm throwing like 9,000 things at you really fast, big concepts, and you creating some room, that my outfit is visually interesting to you. And so, I feel really confident by my wardrobe on stage, and it's starting to, there's some magic there that it's starting to come out of like, oh, I could I could dress in real life like what I wear on stage. I can take up more space. I can take up, it's starting in accessories. I have some really fun purses, and I've always had fun shoes, but it's starting to eke in with using color, using symmetry, using fabric, different kinds of fabric, layering. It's starting to get really fun.
Now, and speaking of which, since we're post-COVID, and as a speaker, a lot of women now are saying, all bets are off. I am done wearing the suit up there, the stodgy suit. I'm going to wear what I want to wear. I'm just going to wear what I want to wear. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about what anybody thinks in terms of, I'm going to wear what I feel comfortable in and beautiful in, but I also feel confident and powerful and independent.
In my wardrobe, but I'm, in creative fields. And so, I'm not expected to stand up in the 3-piece tailored suit, and be taken seriously. And, like it's funny too, because like the guy wardrobe is like the blazer and like really expensive jeans, right? Like, that have a full wash to them. And for a long time, it felt like the girl wardrobe of that was the same with like, the undertop that was satin or silk and really nice heels. So, but I didn't always feel comfortable in that. Like I don't always love that look, especially like, when you're thinking about the blazer and, the lavalier and all those kinds of like tiny details. So I think I've always, except in a stage point of view, done my own thing while being respectful of the venue and the audience.
Yeah, and who invited you to the event? Yeah.
I try to dress in a way that if you're in the very back row, you can see me. And if you want to talk to me afterwards, I'm easier to spot. But also, I would only, wear what, in the same genre as everyone else, that like clothing is a genre. Because I both want to be a part of the group that I'm speaking with, and yet hold my own and be true to myself.
So you dropped some really good nuggets here for people who are starting to be public speakers or people who are already public speakers but want to get back in the groove. Maybe they haven't done it in a while because of COVID, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. Number one, when you guys get dressed, Brandi just said, think about your lavalier. Think about the mic. That's something, when you just said, I was like, oh gosh, I never really thought. You have to think about mic placement that's going to stay up, and it's going to stay where it needs to stay and where it's not so noticeable. So those are things.
I'm wearing a dress on stage or a skirt, underneath it, I'm wearing like bike shorts with pockets in them so that when the sound guy and I are having a conversation, it's less of like, oh, I'm embarrassed, and more like I'm in my gym wear. We're all good. And it allows me to move on stage too, like I'm not wearing a dress.
That's what
it's the perfect place for it to sit in the back.
See, this is what I'm talking about. These are important style tips for you to be prepared, to help you get prepared for your speaking engagement, because you have enough to worry about, making sure you have all of your materials, your presentation is ready, everything's solid in your mind. So these are little details that can help make your experience as a speaker less drama-filled, and also helpful, because after you're speaking, you're talking about your business. You're talking about whatever organization you're running. You're wanting to engage the audience, and you want the audience to want to engage with you. So the second thing I heard was that you wear something that after you do your presentation, people can easily find you. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the things that you wear to help people easily find you?
So what I'm wearing right now is something that I wear because, especially in a room where I know it's going to be blacks and blues.
Yes.
And so it's a very soft, delicate pink, but it's also, it's interesting, right? There's multiple materials. It's like a fleece sweatshirt kind of material, which you can dress up or down. And then it's like a knit sweater, like sleeve. The designer is Yellow Cake Shop, which is a Cleveland-based shop, and it comes down in you can't see it, but it comes down in a triangle.
Okay.
And it's odd. And it actually contains a tiny pocket that's built in, which is so cool. And so that's where the lab goes on that, and then it goes up and under. But in a room where, people are in suits and they're in blacks and blues, you can spot the girl in pink pretty quick. I've been known to wear orange. I've been known when I wear black or I wear white. Both of those you can stand out depending on the room, right? Knowing I'll match my slides sometimes. So I have my brand color is like the Tiffany blue. And so if I'm wearing all black because I'm on a white background, right, which is going to make me pop, I'll be wearing, jewelry that is all teal. And so that way, you can kind of see it in these different ways. So sometimes it's straight up color. Sometimes it's really interesting pattern that's different. And then sometimes it's how am I using my accessories that are also matching my overall branding.
See, that's some really good, helpful information, you guys, that she's giving you if you're just now, especially if you're just entering the public speaking realm. Man, Brandi, you definitely hooked us up with some tips, man. And I love also that you shop small and you are supporting a local small business. So I think that's great.
Well, I think that's one of the things too, right? I have a platform, right? And all of us as speakers have a platform. And so what are you choosing to do with it? I'm really conscious about when I step on stage, what I'm wearing, and happy to share what I'm wearing, right? So that other people can go and that, that pre-stage selfie that you're posting to Instagram, right? I'm tagging the designers to continue to spread the love of thank you for dressing me. You've created a place where I can walk on stage and give to the room the way I want to because I already feel so good in my body.
And on that note, we are going to thank Brandi for joining us today. Also, she's going to, at the end of the show, she's going to put in her information where you can get the book and where you can connect with her. And maybe she'll drop us where we can connect to the store to get that cute sweater.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. What a delight.
Thank you so much. And you guys know where you can find me. I'm on At the Style Table. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. You can also go to atthestyletable.com. Please follow me on YouTube and subscribe. And we will see you next time on At the Style Table. Bye.
Bye.